Hey residents of Meepletown, if you know me, you know I'm a sucker for a farm-themed game, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking at with Fields of Green today. But we're not only going to be looking at the Fields of Green base game, we're also going to be checking out the Grand Fair expansion. I'm going to give you ratings on both, on what I think about the base game and also what I think about the expansion whenever they're combined. So I say let's just get this thing to the table and let's check out Fields of Green with the Grand Fair expansion. All right, Meepletown, so we have Fields of Green set up. We're ready to play with the Grand Fair expansion. Now, before we dive in, I do want to share what's expansion and what is the base game in case some folks are just looking at the base game. All right, so with the expansion, we're going to have these awards, in-game scoring awards, which are pretty sweet, actually. And you're going to be drawing 2 of those in the game. So, and there's actually a pretty good stack of them. I'll try to show them at the end. But in this game, we're going to be getting 4 points for whoever has the most equipment. If you don't know what that means, you'll find out here in a bit. Also, whoever has the most fruit fields are going to score 2 points per fruit field. So this is new, and I love this part of the expansion. Go ahead, spoiler alert. Also, we're going to have these little contests, milking contest, tractor race, carnival ride. These are going to definitely add a layer of complexity to Fields of Green. And basically the way they're going to work is, you'll see them actually as I play through this, because I'll definitely be talking about those. Also, I am throwing in the event, little mini expansion that comes with Fields of Green. And you don't flip over an event for the first phase, but I will go ahead. Actually, a variant says that you can do that. Just some of the events actually don't pertain to the first round, but I will go ahead and do that just so y'all can see that. But again, for the expansion, we're having these, and there are more. I think there's 8 of these different contests. We're going to have this in-game scoring. There's also some additional equipment tiles and 12 new per field livestock construction and building cards that go into the deck. So quite a bit in the expansion. So here's how the game's played. It's pretty simple. What we're going to do is I'm going to do the 2-player version, play the 2-player variant today. If you're doing the 3 or 4 player, it's even simpler. It's just going to be a drafting game where we're going to be drawing 6 of these. We'll be picking one, placing it into our tableau, into our farm, and we'll be passing it in clockwise order, and we'll keep doing that until the cards are gone. The 2-player variant's a little bit different, so and I do enjoy the 2-player variant. But what we're going to be doing first is we're going to flip over an event card. And this says fertile soil, each player gets 2 grain. That's sweet. So a lot of the events are actually very, very positive in this if you want to play with that little mini expansion. I don't know why I have to say little and mini. I don't think that was necessary, an extra word there, but I do often. All right, so that's the event. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take 6 cards, and we're going to pick from at least 3 different piles here. So I'll play this player over here. I'm going to grab a couple fields. I'm going to grab a livestock. I'll grab a couple livestock, a construction, and let's do a building so y'all can see what that looks like. Buildings are mostly in-game scoring, so those typically are ones that you're playing later on, but who knows? You can do whatever you want. This player's going to grab a couple fields as well. They're going to grab a couple livestock and the constructions, actually. This player doesn't care about buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, if we're playing the 3 or 4 player game, the player is actually going to be looking at these, finding one, putting them into their tableau, and passing it along. In the 2-player game, the variant's a little bit different. We're actually going to not look at the cards that we just selected. So we just know that we selected a certain amount of fields, livestock, all that stuff. Then we're going to shuffle the deck, and we're going to place 6 cards out here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'll just place 1 here. I hope they don't get in the way too much. But okay, so that's the first thing that we do. These cards, we will play all of these 12 cards that we just selected. But now that it's the first player's turn, they're going to be doing one of 4 things on a turn. They're going to be taking one of these cards and either paying the cost in the left-hand corner and placing them into their farm, or they're going to pick up a card, discard it, to build a water tower for 2 coins or a silo for no coins. They can do that. They also can go to market, which means it's usually what you're going to be doing when you need coins. And you can take one of the cards, discard it, and you get 2 coins. Now, you can also give up to 2 grains for 2 coins apiece. So if I were to give up 2 grains, I would get 2 for just discarding the card and going to market, and then 2 more for this one, and 2 more for this one. So I'd get 6 coins, which would be pretty nice. You can do that, or if you have not done in your harvest phase, which we'll look at here, if you have had to flip over one of your cards, you could pay a coin to flip it over from the open area and make it active again. So that's what you'll be doing on your turns. So this player is going to go first. Now, I'll briefly mention these 2 right now because it's going to matter in the game. So these are expansion, and so in the tractor race, basically, whoever at the end of the game, whatever row you're in, you're going to score that many victory points. If you finish the race, you'll get a bonus 2, and whoever finishes it first could get 3 bonus points or 2 bonus points for going second. Here, you're gaining coins. So wherever I put my this will actually go wherever I get my first thing. And then if I go to an adjacent spot, not diagonally, orthogonally adjacent spot, then I will get a coin for doing that. So this is a way to really build a lot of coins. And I'll talk about the milking contest here in a second. So with that being said, I wouldn't mind getting a field right off the rip so that I can move forward in this tractor race. But I also want to look and see what else is out there. So the one field, there's only one field that says gain 1 grain for every 2 adjacent fields. Gain an additional grain. I'll take that actually. It also has a victory point on there. Anytime you see the star, it's a victory point. Now, I'm only going to be, actually, let's just put it over here by the main silo. It will matter. And some of them cost, some of these fields and cards cost water, and you have to have them within a range of 2, which is what it says here. But this one doesn't. I just pay 4 coins, and boom, I am done. Now, this doesn't activate until the harvest phase, and it'll tell you there on the bottom of the card. This goes forward 1. I actually go ahead and push this on the field. You don't get any at the very beginning, but again, later on, if I go adjacent, I'll be able to get that. Also, we will not refill this until we've drawn 2 cards. So the first player goes, the second player goes, then we'll refill it. And I'll stay the first player for the whole round, then we'll move over here. By the way, I just wanted to use the little expansion tractor here. It's better than the little token. I just like that. Normally, it's a little cardboard token. Okay, so now I'm looking over here going, man, if I went livestock, I could move forward again on the tractor race, but I wouldn't get any coins. This building is something I could build around to get some in-game scoring because this is, you get 8 victory points minus the number of empty spaces within 2. So if you build a farmhouse and build a ton of stuff around there, this could be worth 8 points at the end of the game, which is actually pretty solid. Let's see here. The donkeys are get 2 coins. So this is during the harvest phase. Then choose a field type. Man, that's actually pretty good. And 2 victory points. I'm going to grab these. She's going to grab these donkeys, I believe. I actually was jumping ahead of myself, thinking that I was actually going again because I was getting so excited. She has to get a field before she can move forward on the livestock track. But I think she wants this. She wants to go ahead and grab this. And it's going to cost her 3 coins. She's going to place it over here. All right. So now that she has done that, she doesn't get the bonus again until harvest if she can fulfill it by putting a grain on there. Now she is going to put her tractor right here on livestock and doesn't get to move forward because she first has to get a field to move forward in the tractor race here. Now I will mention what the milking contest is because I've placed this card out. And for the milking contest, the player whose turn it is can choose to actually activate. Normally you cannot activate any of the harvest cards until the harvest, but in the milking contest you can. You could activate yours or your opponent's, and the cost depends on where you or your opponent's tractor is. So if she wanted to go ahead and activate this, she could pay 1 coin, put a grain on here, gain 2 coins, and then a coin for every field type. After she selects a field type within 2 over here. She doesn't really want to do that. She would though if she didn't move forward, which is going to make it progressively more expensive. All right. So I don't know if I'll do the milk contest during this first round here, but I just want to let you know how that works. It's pretty neat. It's really neat, actually, because you can activate stuff in the middle of the game, which is really cool. So we're back over here, and like I said before I got a little mixed up, I could get a livestock to move forward on the tractor race. I also could do a building, water tower, or a work card, which would be the watchdogs. The watchdogs could get me some points. It could also give me a coin. It can move me forward. See the potatoes though, you get 2 if built. Man, that is just so tempting right here. I've got to take these taters because it says I get 2. Well, actually, you know what though? I get 2 grain, but I already have Only have a spot for one, so I'd be wasting that. But if I build it next to a silo, I'll also get an equipment, which equipment can be super powerful in this game. But I don't get any bonus anywhere else by doing that. Oh, that's tough because I'm looking at her thinking she really wants that field badly. I guess if I get it, it would block her from moving forward on the tractor race. I'm getting that tater, man. I'm getting those taters. Also, because I'm going to get a grain for every 2 adjacent fields. So I'm going to actually put it next to this. No, I can't do that. I can't do that because for every 2 adjacent fields, get an additional. That's not going to help on my peppers. I want to build this next to the silo, though. So I'm going to put the potatoes down here. It cost me 3 coins. So let me get 7 back here. Now what's interesting is not only do I have to pay 3 coins, I have to pay water. And water towers have a range of 2 unless you put an equipment on there, something to make it more powerful. So I have to go 1, 2, and spin the water to place that potato. I'm also going to need water here to activate this during harvest, so I've got to watch my water, and I may end up having to build another water tower. But I do get 2 grain, which I only get 1, so I wasted 1. I don't like that, but I gained a victory point, and I get an equipment. And when you get an equipment, you're going to select 3 of these tiles, and you're going to place them on one of these. So the waterer says I place it on livestock, which I don't have livestock, so that's the negative to getting these early is that you could get hosed. Silo, get 1 grain, and then ongoing the silo may store 2 more. So I could actually place this on my silo and get a grain because from now on I can actually store 6 on there. That's actually pretty nice. I could put this on the field. So this is field. If there are 4 or more fields within 2, during harvest, I gain a victory point. So this could be a victory point gaining engine if I build a lot of fields around that scarecrow. Right now, I'd have only 1 around it. I'm going to go ahead and boost up, I think, my main silo here. These 2 are going to go on the bottom of the pile here. So I gain a grain because this can now hold 6 because of the container that I have there. All right, that's cool. That's my move, and I don't get to go forward there or there. Now it's her move, and she wanted that field pretty badly for that, but she's also thinking she could grab a construction and be able to gain another coin to get some more coins. So during the harvest phase, she can pay 2 coins, which you have to pay, or you have to flip it over, to put 1 water on up to 2 water towers within 3. This could be a good way to fill up the water towers. But this doesn't really help because it says if built next to a construction, gain equipment. If built next to a water tower, gain a victory point. It's not terrible. She could place it next to that water tower and gain a victory point here and gain 1 immediately, but that also takes a spot up next to her water tower. So she was really interested in that. You know what she's going to do? She's going for the building. She's going to spend the big bucks. Well, she's only going to get $3 left here, but she'll gain 1 back to grab this farmhouse. And again, if she can put a lot of things around the farmhouse, she's not going to put it next to the main water tower. She's going to put it down here next to this silo. She'll get 8 victory points at the end of the game, but minus the number of empty spaces within 2. So she wants to build this up as much as she can, but she does get to slide this over to the building, which then gets her another coin. So she's not doing too bad on coins, even though she just paid big bucks for that farmhouse. All right, so let's keep this going. Let's flip this over. Now we will use all, again, 12 of these cards. So I've got a lot of livestock choices, which I like, though a construction could help me get a coin, which I feel like I'm doing okay on coins. I'm doing okay. All right, so I could do the geese and grab some of those. I am worried a little bit about my water as well, but maybe I'll be fine. This immediately gives me 1 coin for each other non-filled within 2. So I could place this and that would just get me 2 coins and a victory point. It's not great, but I wouldn't mind spending some grain, and that's what both of those are. All right, I'm doing this. So I'm going to place this geese. I don't want to place it here because I want to have adjacent fields so that I can get more grain. So I'm going to place this geese right here, which costs 2 coins, and then during the harvest phase I'm going to get 2 coins for each adjacent water tower. So that'll be a little bit of a coin building engine for me. I do move forward now on the tractor race, and I don't here because it was not livestock and it wasn't the work type livestock there, or water tower or construction. All right, so we got that going on there. Now she is desperately wanting to move forward in this tractor race and just has been blocked, stymied so far. let's see here. Also, I'm glad I got that equipment because it's helping me on this. None of the fruit fields have come out for this either, which is interesting. So let's see. She's thinking, she could go ahead and get an animal pen and get 3 victory points here, which is pretty expensive, though, for pretty much wipe her out. So, yeah, she's going to pass on that, actually. She could grab these watchdogs to get a few more coins and then move this over here. I think she's going to do that. I think she's going to grab this livestock. And it says gain 1 coin for each non-filled livestock within 2. So if she puts it up here, now I got some tight space here. This takes up some space. She's going to pay a coin first. Let's just do that first. And she's also going to have to pay a grain. She's doing okay on grain. Then she gains a coin for each other non-field within 2. And she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 non-fields within 2. So that was a pretty good play for her because that's a lot of coinage. And in addition to that, she's going to get to slide this over here, which gets her another coin, but doesn't move forward on that tractor there. So she could end up going up this milking contest too to gain some more grain if she's running low on grain. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. So here's the last 2. So we're going to place these up here, and both of them are fields. Now I'm immediately drawn to the fields because I can go forward with a field, and there's a fruit field. All right. Yeah, so it's really powerful going first, but again, everyone's gonna have an even amount of turns to go for since there's first because there's 4 rounds. I'm absolutely grabbing this. Yeah, because it also says I gain 1 grain for each water tower within 2. This says gain 2 for each water tower, each adjacent water tower. So if I could build, I could put some water towers here and maybe get a little bit of an engine going, but I do need them to, carry water later on if I get things like potatoes. But I'm still going to do that. And it's going to cost me 3, which I'm starting to hurt for money. I've only got $3 here, 3 coins, and that will not be activated till later, but I do get a victory point at the end of the game for that as well. So I do move forward here on this field. I don't get anything for that, which, man, I really need some coins. But that's what I'm going to do. Yep. Okay, now she's saying she just has to take this field to at least start moving forward on this tractor race. I'm getting too far ahead. And it says during the harvest phase, gain 1. It's the same thing as I had up here. You're going to gain 1 grain, and then for every 2 adjacent fields, she'll gain an additional 1. She's going to go down here to go ahead and kind of fill out some of this farmhouse. Actually, she doesn't need to be next to a water tower. Oh, yes, she does. She does need to be next to a water tower for the harvest phase, which you'll see here in a little bit. Okay, so she's going to do that. That cost her 4 coins. She is finally on the board on the tractor race, and the field is not orthogonally adjacent there, so she doesn't move up on there. Okay, so now we just have these 4, and we're going to just rip through these really quickly. All right, so I'm thinking about building a water tower to help this, and I think I'm going to, actually. And I'm going to try to get something that maybe she doesn't want. I could build this. No. I don't have another construction. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. I'm going to take this out of here. So I'm going to take this fuel depot, and I'm going to discard it. And then I'm going to pay 2 coins, which, wow, I'm getting wiped out. But it's going to help me on this as well. To put this water tower right here, because for every adjacent water tower, I'm going to gain another coin there. Now, when you do get the water towers, you go ahead and fill them up. And during the upkeep phase, you're going to get a couple waters, but you have to really manage your water in this game. It's pretty important. I'm going to fill that up. It paid me cost 2 coins, and that is going to, that's going to be my turn there. Now, she's over here. Oh, oops, sorry. I get to move up on that, and then I also get to go there, which is why I really wanted to do that, to gain an extra coin. Now, it's her turn, and she's looking, construction wouldn't be bad. She's already on livestock. She's thinking about this, about moving up on the construction. This says cost 1 less for each livestock within 2. That would be a way later on, and plus it's worth 3 victory points, so a way later on to really get some stuff. But that's just expensive right now. That's going to cost all of her money. If she does this, she can place 1 water on up to 2 water towers. I think she's going to take this well. She's not super thrilled about it, but I think she's going to take this well and place 1 on up to 2 water towers within 3. So she's going to place it all the way down here because this water tower is still within 3. It cost her 2 coins. She's going to grab 3 back. Let's do that. And boom, it's also 2 victory points, which is pretty solid. She's also going to move her up there on the carnival ride, and she does not get the livestock. Now, it's back to my turn, and I can't get that animal pen. It's not going to work. I could do the watchdogs, which I'm thinking about doing, because then it could be a way. I'm really running low on money, and I've got plenty of grain. That's exactly what I'm going to do, because it'll also I'm really moving pretty quick on that tractor race. So this is going to give me 1 coin, again, for each non-filled within 2. So if I don't want to place it adjacent to that field, though. I need to get some more around those peppers to get more. If I go here, that one's within 2. There's no, I can put it down there. But if I do that, then I'm blocking a chance for another water tower to get me even more coins. I just don't really like, I could just do this. 1, 2. It doesn't really matter on some of these, actually. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's going to get me 3 coins if I do that. What the hey? I'll just try to get fields here and here so I can get the additional one. So I'm going to go ahead and place that there. It is worth a victory point at the end of the game. It will cost me a wheat. Also, yeah. So I will get 1 coin for each non-filled location within 2. So there's non-filled there within 2. There's a non-filled there within 2. Non-filled there within 2. So 3. So it really wasn't a great move, but it does move me forward here. And yeah, so that's not bad. It also moves me up here because it's a work, which gives me another coin. So I'm happy that it moved me on some of these tracks over here. Now she doesn't have the money to get the animal pin. So what she's thinking is either she's got okay money, so I think she's going to go ahead and maybe get another water tower. That way she can just prep herself, because you will run low on water tower. She could build another silo, but she's doing fine on holding her grain storage right now. So she's going to discard that to get a water tower, just like I did earlier. And she's going to place it, I think she's just going to place it over here. That way she has a lot more room. To use those water towers, have some other fields that are stretched a little further away than that main water tower over there. So she fills that up. And then we'll do the harvest phase. So we are finally ready for the harvest phase. And so what we'll do is I'll go here first. Now what we're going to be doing is we have to fulfill any of these harvest phase requirements to get the bonus, but also if we can't fulfill it, it's going to get flipped over, or we can put an open area card over it, and it's not active until we spend a coin to flip it back over. So it's not the worst, but it's also not the best. Plus we miss the bonus of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take, now the range does not matter on the grain, but it does matter when it comes to the water tower. So I'm going to go ahead and place this down here, and it says I gain 2 coins for every adjacent water tower. That's not bad. So I'm going to gain 4 coins right there, which super helps me out here. So I've got that. Then I need to put 2 water on here, and I need to put 2 water on here. I'm just going to take these 2 waters, place them on there, gain 1 grain for each water tower within 2, which is sweet. So now I've got 2 water towers within 2. So again, I normally couldn't put extra on the silo, but I have that container. So that was pretty important for me to get earlier. Then I have to fulfill this one as well, which I can't do it with this water tower. I have to do it with this water tower because it's a range of 2, and I gain 1 grain, and then I gain 1 for every 2 adjacent fields, which I don't have. So I'm really doing well on grain. I need to get some harvest cards, more like this, that use that grain later on. Or I could go to the market and sell and get a bunch of coins, which I might do that if it's really full like that as well. So everything has been completed on this side. Now she's going to come over here, and she has 1, 2, 3 of these. And you can do these in any order, by the way. It's a little bit of a puzzle, not too complicated of a puzzle, but it's something that you have to at least think about. At this point, she doesn't have to think about it because she has all the requirements. But you could, for example, use this to get something that unlocks, like if I didn't have 2 coins. So I'll just show you. So this says get 2 coins, then choose a field type and get additional coin for each field type of that within 2. And she didn't build the field within 2, which kind of stinks, but she does get 2 coins. So if we pretend like she had no coins that time, she could take these 2 coins she just got from the donkeys and place them directly on here. So that's pretty neat. So I'm going to actually It doesn't really matter here for the well, but I'll show you. So I'm going to place this down here, gain 1, and then gain for every 2 adjacent fields. The same thing as my peppers, but she doesn't have any gain other, so she just gains 1 grain there. And then over here, she has to place the 2 coins. I mean, it's not really going to help her, honestly, is the negative to this. But she also doesn't want to spend a whole turn to flip it over. It cost her a coin. It would save her a coin, but she doesn't want to spend a whole turn to do that. So you may say, well, it does fill up her water tower within 3, but during the upkeep phase, you get 2 waters anyways. So she's not super sad about that because it helped her with this. And later in the game, this could be really helpful to have a well to fill up these water towers. All right, so that's a complete round. And what we're going to do during the upkeep phase, they have these little cards I'll show you anyway, just to have a year overview, just so you kind of little player aid. You're going to gain a wheat. So I actually wouldn't get a wheat because I can't put it in my silo here. You're going to gain 2 waters, which I could put here wherever I want to put them. And then you're also going to gain 3 coins, but we're not going to do that. Then we'll draw 6 cards. We'll move this forward and we'll do this 3 more times and boom, the game is over. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the art and components of this game. When it comes to the base game, the cards are pretty good quality. I'm satisfied with those. I do also like that you have the little grain and the water droplets. They're not just cubes. These are just pieces of cardboard. I think the art is also really good. I like the art in this game. You know, some people like the farm theme, some people don't. I do like it. I think the art is pretty good in this game. I really do. I like the art. The iconography is simple to understand. I like that quite a bit. You have pieces of cardboard for equipment and over here, which is fine. Not the greatest, not the worst. So overall, with the base game, I'm satisfied. I'll say that. I'm not overwhelmed by the art and the components. I'm also not disappointed by them as well. Like, they're pretty good. They're pretty solid. Now, when it comes to the expansion, a couple things. These are pretty thin, but I like these. I kind of like these types of things. They could rip. You got to be careful. They're not terrible, but they don't slide. That's a negative to having, you know, pieces of cardboard, you know, like cardboard player mats where they slide around a lot. These don't, which is actually quite nice. You get these really big honking tractors, which are cool. I really love those. A couple minor complaints is that you do get some extra water, and I don't know if you're going to be able to. Those are all from the base. I don't know if you can tell very well on the camera, especially at a distance. I didn't set up our little green screen this time, sorry y'all. But they are a little different. They're a slightly different shade. They're thicker. I don't know if you can tell that. You can tell by that. They're a little thicker. They're slightly different shade. So I don't love that. And then also the same thing with the grain. If you can see this right here, you can tell that one's bigger than the other. So the expansion adds some more grain pieces, but they're a little bit different. It's not a huge deal to me. Because honestly, if it's a really big deal to you, the base game has quite a few to be able to play with. Unless you're adding players and stuff like that, it's not a big deal. But I don't care too much, but I don't love it either because that's not great. Another little minor complaint. This is more than a minor complaint, actually. The tiles. Let's see if I can find. There we go. The equipment tiles. They add some new equipment tiles, and when you add the new equipment tiles, I don't know how easy it is for y'all to see this or not. But they're shaded slightly different. And that can be a pretty big deal because there's not a ton of new equipment tiles. So if you saw it on the top of the pile, you could know, wow, okay, that's a little bit different shade. I know that's one of those new ones, which I don't like that at all. Maybe over time, it'll actually darken just a little bit, but I don't like that. Now, you are drawing 3 all the time, so oftentimes you may not see that on the top. It may be something that you're drawing because you're drawing 3 later on. But again, I don't know if you can tell, but the one to the right is slightly different shaded. So that's probably my biggest complaint, honestly, about the expansion. The back of the cards are also slightly different colored. If you were really focused hard, you could tell which ones I think are base game and which ones aren't. That's ever so slight and not quite as big of a deal. But I don't love this part. But hey, I still really like the expansion, which we're going to talk about here when it comes to the gameplay. So let's just dive into my gameplay thoughts on this game. Base game Fields of Green. I'm a fan of. I like the game. I like when you're playing a 3 to 4 player game, the quick pace of drawing and drafting those cards. I like the theme. I also like that harvest phase, which, you know, it's not the most complicated puzzle, and it's actually a positive, and I mean it could be a negative for to a degree. Like I like having an extra phase where you have to move around these pieces and everything, which is very, very positive, not just laying down cards into a tableau, but also the puzzle is not often all that complicated to kind of figure, okay, I need to get this so that I can get that, so that I can get that. But it's still fun. I still think it's a fun little puzzle, a quick puzzle during the harvest phase. But I also really like in this game how it matters a lot where you put the tiles, where you're putting your cards. In a lot of drafting games, like Seven Wonders, doesn't matter, where you put them. Though I still like Seven Wonders better. I love Seven Wonders. But, it doesn't matter where you put them. Here, it really matters where you're putting them because you have to put them within the range of the water tower. Or a lot of cards are depending on, as you saw during the gameplay, well, it needs to have this within a range of 2 or this within a range of 3 or they have to be adjacent. That's really cool and that's really, really neat. And so I think that's fun. So I enjoy the base game. Now, the base game doesn't blow my mind. It's just a really good, solid drafting game and I guess you could say tile laying game, card laying game, and whatnot. But when it comes to the expansion, it really ups the game for me. Now, I've seen some people say that they like the smoothness. The decisions are not overly complicated with the base game, but when you start adding these with the expansion, it can become a whole lot more thinky. For me, that's a huge positive, a tremendous positive. A little bit of a little knock on the base game is I think it gets a little samey for me. Now, I know a lot of people like it feeling samey. It's because the buildings. I just get used to the buildings. I mean, the buildings, the livestock, the fields, and I like to feel like I'm doing something new a lot, and often the same ones are coming out in the base game. Some of y'all may love that because you like knowing what's probably going to come out. I don't. I like that element of surprise. I like feeling like I'm doing something different. And so the base game gets a tad samey for me, but still I say that, saying that I still really do enjoy the base game by itself. This adds so much more thinkiness to the game. I love these equipment cards, which are really, really nice. Let me see if I can find where the rest of those are at. Oh, I'm going to sort through them. Oh, here we go. Under the table. So there was 2, you're drawing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's what I thought. So there are 12 of these cards here, and 2 of them are going to come out, that's a lot of variability to in-game scoring. That's really, really cool. And there are a bunch of these. Let's go under the table. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what I thought. So there are 8 different ones of these, and you're playing 3, and you don't have to play 3, but I like to play 3. I think it's really fun. Now, if you're new to it, and you're thinking, wow, 3 of those, that's a lot going on. You play with 1, that's fine. These are all different. Now, some of them I'll say, some of them I like better than others. Some are more interesting than others. And it's kind of funny, like the tractor race is one that I love, and it's super simple because it adds that element of just very simply, wow, I want to get a construction because I want to move up this track because it's going to score me victory points at the end of the game. The carnival ride is nice because it gives you coins. So in the carnival ride game, the money's not so tight. So the milking contests allow you to activate some of these in the middle of the game. You got these agriculture markets that can help you get different cards or make more cards available for you. For example, when she couldn't get a field, she could have maybe gone to the agriculture market if this was out and gotten a field that way. You've got the equipment show, hay bale, throwing contest, beer festival. Some of these also, I didn't love the beer festival with the 2-player game. I thought it was okay. Some of them work better at different player counts, but that's the cool part about it. And it makes the variability, I think, just kind of go through the roof with this game because you have 8 different ones and you can play 3 different ones. You also have 12 different of these cards. So good. So much fun. The new equipment tiles, though I don't like the way they're a little bit different colored, they're nice, and I love the new buildings and livestock and fields and constructions because, like I said before, some of it got a little samey for me. It just freshened up the game so much, and I really, really like that. So here's my final thoughts. If we're just talking about the base game of Fields of Green, again, in case some people skip forward to final thoughts, I like the quick nature of the game whenever you're drafting, just drafting a card, putting it in, or building a silo or whatever. It's pretty quick, pretty straightforward. I also like the 2-player variant. I think it's a very clever 2-player variant. I have played this mostly 2-player, and I like it. My wife and I both like it. I like that part about it. I like the little harvest phase where you're moving things around. However, I do wish that maybe the puzzle was a little more complex. I feel like it's just a simple, pretty simple little puzzle, little tickle my brain itch there. That even makes sense. But whether, I like it, but maybe if it was a little more complex, I would like it even more. Negatively, I feel like this game for me gets a little samey. As I said earlier, the base game gets a little bit samey. But again, that's because they're the same type of, fields and stuff start coming out and you're getting pretty used to them. A lot of times they're the same things coming out every game. But again, some people might really like that because they know what's going to come out. So that's just personal taste. It gets a little bit samey feels for me. But I like it. I like Fields of Green. I give Fields of Green 7.5 out of 10. It's a solid drafting, tile laying, or card laying game. Again, I like how it really matters where you place these. That's a huge plus to some other drafting games. So I like it. It's a very solid game. 7.5 out of 10 means I'm usually willing to play it. It's solid. But when you add Grand Fair, it kicks this game up a notch for sure for me. It's barely a 7.5 base game. When you add Grand Fair, I love all the variability, like I said before, with these contests that you're doing. I really like the simplicity of just having some more in-game scoring, and I really enjoy having the new fields and livestock and construction and buildings. So nice. It adds the game feels like the variability just kind of goes through the roof whenever you're adding all these pieces to it. And again, it might not be for some people. There's some people I've read, now I think overwhelmingly people like this expansion, but some people say it makes it a little too complicated. They like the simplicity. They felt like the base game was streamlined. I understand that. For me personally, I love this expansion. I think this expansion is fantastic. This goes from barely a 7.5 to an easy 8 for me. An 8 out of 10 if you're playing Fields of Green with the... Oh my gosh, I drew a mind blank. The Grand Fair expansion. I will always play with this expansion if it's available. I often wouldn't turn down a game of regular Fields of Green, but with the expansion, if it's available, I will always get that to the table. Super enjoy the Grand Fair expansion. I'm really glad that Stronghold actually sent me a copy of that. It really made Fields of Green feel so much fresher. So the base game, I'm going to give it barely 7.5. I'm going to give a very easy, solid 8 out of 10 when you add Grand Fair to this. So great expansion and a solid game. So if you're enjoying our channel, we would love for you to subscribe to our channel. If you go to MeepleTownGames.com, you can check out all of our stuff. If you go to @MeepleTownGames on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, you can kind of check out all of those. And we're Board Game Geek Guild 3407. Thanks for coming down to Meepletown.
Thanks for joining us, and be sure to follow us on Twitter @MeepleTownGames and connect with us on the Meepletown Guild, Guild number 3407, at BoardGameGeek.com. And also subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. And until next time, thanks for coming down to Meepletown.